Hi, I'm Kenny Dixon with Crossroads Faith in Film and the Faithspotting podcast. On our last episode on Faithspotting podcast, we reviewed and spotted faith in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, the latest blockbuster that's out in IMAX and every other format there is, and lots of talk, lots of controversy. And it dawned on me this wasn't Nolan's first work in an Odyssey. And it reminded me of one of my holy moment cinematic times in life when at the 2018 Cannes Film Festival, I sat in the second largest theater they have with some 1,600 others. And Christopher Nolan presented a remastered and reorchestrated version of 2001 A Space Odyssey in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the 1968 film. This is the Cannes poster from 2018. And so at the beginning, before the film, Nolan was on stage and sharing about his experience watching the film as a boy with his father. And this for me was a holy moment because my father, also a pastor, for him, this was his favorite film, and he said it was the most theological film that he had ever seen. And we had seen it several times together, but for this presentation, I was going to be there. He was in declining health. He's having some dementia issues, and a few months after I returned, he'd be diagnosed with inoperable cancer. So I was just determined to see this presentation. So I waited in line for 2.5, 3 hours. It was raining off and on, but I got a seat in the balcony in the middle and just feasted on this masterpiece. And before the film, as I said, Christopher Nolan talked about it. He was joined on stage by Kubrick's daughter, Katherina, and also Kubrick's producing partner, his brother-in-law, and then one other person. And he talked about what the film meant to him. He talked about a little bit of what they went into to restore and reorchestrate the film. And so I thought I'd just share that video here. I hope you enjoy.
I'd also just had to give you a little personal history for myself. The first time I saw this film in 70mm on a huge screen, I was 7 years old, and my father took me to the largest cinema in London. And like so many others who saw this film, I came out with a new and fresh, changed idea of what movies could do that I, like so many other filmmakers, have carried with me.
Juste sur une touche plus personnelle, je vous dirais qu'à l'âge de 7 ans, j'ai découvert ce film quand on monte sur grand écran, quand mon père m'a emmené dans la plus grande salle de Londres. Et en voyant ce film, j'ai été, comme beaucoup de ces films, complètement bouleversée et une redéfinition complète de ce que le cinéma pouvait être et pouvait offrir.
But none of our personal experiences can compare with the stories I've been hearing from these fine people who played their part in this great masterpiece 50 years ago. I was at dinner the other night. Katherina casually mentioned how she had visited the rotating set of the Discovery. I think not realizing, because it was just an aside, and somebody like me, that's like talking about walking into the Sistine Chapel, seeing some Italian guy begging you to see it at the airport.
Et évidemment, toutes les expériences que nous pouvons tous raconter de notre découverte de ce chef-d'œuvre ne sont en rien comparables avec ce qu'en ont à dire les 5 heureuses personnes qui ont participé à l'élaboration et qui ont été les témoins de l'élaboration de ce chef-d'œuvre. Très incidemment, l'autre jour, pendant un dîner, Catherine me racontait qu'elle a eu l'occasion de visiter ce décor tournant. Et c'est comme si, pour moi, quelqu'un me racontait qu'un jour, il est passé dans la chapelle Sixtine et qu'il a vu un peintre italien accroché au plafond.
It honors us that you are here. We seek to honor this incredible masterpiece that you all played such an important part in. What you will be seeing is the closest we could get to the original 1968 presentation on 70mm. A print made at Photocount in Los Angeles, all photochemical process, an analog version of the film, as close as we could possibly get to the way it was presented in 1968, including the original sound mix presented in this theater, which is one of the few in the entire world that can play this original sound arrangement.
Donc, je veux dire que c'est un grand honneur pour nous tous de pouvoir être là et vous présenter cette copie de ce grand chef-d'œuvre. C'est une copie qui est le plus proche, le plus fidèle possible à la copie originale présentée en 1968. La copie 70 mm reproduite selon tout le processus argentique, photochimique et avec le mixage du son original qui on peut découvrir dans les conditions réelles en raison des extraordinaires de l'équipement extraordinaire qu'on a dans cette salle qui est une des salles de l'Afrique.
So before we start the presentation, if I have said very little about the man who made this incredible masterpiece, it's because I did not have the pleasure of knowing him, and I wouldn't want to presume. But what I have learned about him over the last couple of days is that he would have wanted the work to speak for itself, and so that's what we intend to do here tonight. So thank you very much for coming.